All right, we are live. Thank you, Griz Nation, for listening to another episode or watching if you're on YouTube with us. Before we get into this awesome episode, guys, we'd just like you to know that you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. You can also watch the podcast on YouTube. We are part of the FCS Fans Nation network on YouTube. They have great other podcasts and shows on other college sports, college football as well. Listen to that, subscribe to us. We greatly appreciate it. But today's episode, man, we have Helena Capital, Griz commit, a linebacker, Hayden Opitz. How are you, man?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I have to add into their state champ too as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, we got it done.
How's that feel, man? Being a state champ on your senior year.
It's pretty surreal because especially I'm such best friends with all those guys. I mean, we've been playing together since small fry football. And that was always one of our goals throughout the summer and going into the season. The fact that we were able to capitalize and win was pretty big for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Hayden, give Griz Nation a little background about yourself. Where did you grow up? Kind of something like that. Give them who you are, man.
Yeah, so I was born in Helena, and obviously I still live in Helena. I go to Capitol High. But yeah, mostly just live out in the valley and just kind of go from there.
Nice, man. Well, what was your first introduction to sports?
My dad introduced me to sports in elementary school, through the YMCA and kind of that program. So that's where I started.
What was the first sport that you tried?
I think it was football and basketball were the main two back then. Used
All
to
right.
play soccer too, but that kind of fell off. I kind of got sick of that.
There you go. There you go. Too much running, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So, you said it was an awesome experience kind of winning that senior season on state championship and to do it with your brothers on your team. You know, you have some of your teammates coming with you to the Grizz, and some are probably going over to the neighbors as well. How is that for you to know that you've got friends and brothers on the team that are going to be with you that have been with you in high school?
It's a really big step. It's kind of the next step in the college can be intimidating, and the fact that I have Austin going with me, it just really like helps both give us both confidence and just the ability to step into our roles more comfortably with each other by our sides.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, what other sports do you play this year? I know you play football, but what other sports do you play?
I played basketball 4 years, and then I ran track, and I'm still in track this year, so gotta finish
Okay.
that out.
A favorite sport?
Football, obviously.
Football. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. What position did you play in basketball?
I was a center. I had to hold it down in the paint.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Awesome, man. Were you the enforcer or were you like the scorer in the middle, man?
Kind of both. I kind of got double teamed a lot this year, and I had to adjust to that. But I like to think of myself as the physical guy all around, kind of playing football on the basketball court in a way.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, are there any other talents that you have that, maybe a lot of us don't see? Any hidden hobbies?
In the summer, me and my friends love to go out to the lake. We surf and all that type of stuff. And then I like to say I can draw. I don't know. That's kind of a hidden thing. I like to consider myself a little bit of an artist.
There you go. There you go. What kind of drawings do you do?
Just kind of like doodling in class and stuff like that. Whenever I'm free, I'll do it.
That's awesome. I have no artistic ability at all. So, yeah, my wife is the more artistic one, and I marvel at it because I'm just like I can try to draw a stick figure and it doesn't look like anything. So,
Yeah, that's all right.
so did you always want to play college football, or when was that time that you knew that hey, something sparked in you that you wanted to do it?
Well, about sophomore year, I just didn't really know what I wanted to do going into college, if I just wanted to go into it or try to go into a sport. And then junior year football happened, and then it just kind of clicked in my head. I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. I want to go on to college and do this. And thankfully, I was able to do that.
That's awesome. That passion, man. So it clicked that junior year, and You've probably got a lot of recruitment from outside and probably in the state and out of the state as well. But as a individual that has made it from the high school ranks to the college ranks, what kind of advice would you give some young guys that are trying to make that happen, that are probably in your position, or maybe in your junior year, that are looking up to you?
You know, just having fun with the sport. It can be stressful, especially in the recruiting process, and you can become overthinking things. And if you just go out there and have fun and try your best, they'll notice you. And as long as you're acting good outside the class and you have a good grades, you'll make it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I've never been recruited for anything. So that process is probably something that is kind of surreal, but also probably makes you feel good as well. What was that recruitment and everything that goes into that, by schools? What was that like?
It was pretty cool all around. They kind of give you the welcoming hand, and
Yeah.
you go to visits and you go to the camps and you go game days and you meet the coaches when they come to your school. Yeah, it's all pretty surreal. So you just kind of have to take it in the moment and just kind of go from there and realize what you have to do. It's a big step.
Okay. Nice, man. What kind of schools were recruiting you?
I had most of the NAIAs, and then I had UM, Eastern Washington, MSU, and then I had some pretty big ones like Kansas State and Utah State looking at me.
Awesome. Well, we got you from one of the Mountain West and the Big 12.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. So, as a kid, were your parents into sports, or how was that like?
Yeah, my parents are both athletes. My dad went on to play at UM too, football wise, but my mom was a big basketball player back in high school. And yeah, my dad also was a three-sport athlete running track and basketball. So
Awesome. He played for the Grizz. What year did he play for the Grizz?
early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that's awesome. Do you remember your first Grizz game?
Yeah, I actually do. It was after a basketball tournament, like a 3-on-3 summer one. And me and my friends in about fourth grade, our dads took us to the Griz game, and we got the foam fingers and everything. And I just remember walking in and seeing the atmosphere, and it was just crazy.
Yeah. No, there's it's a great atmosphere, great stadium. It can't be matched by a lot of places out there. So,
Yeah.
your recruitment. You mentioned some of the heavy hitters that were after you. What made you pick Montana? Why did you not go to those other places?
It's just like the community inside and out of football. I mean, the town is just so invested into its college, and it's just whenever I go there, I just feel like I really fit in there, and they make me welcome. And it's close to home, and I have history there, and it just when I was there, it just felt like the right place.
Yeah. Well, and what kind of role did your dad? You said your dad was played for the Grizz. What was that like? Kind of getting recruited and having your dad as a former Grizz football player. What was that like?
It was really nice actually because he knew the process too, and he could help me through it. And just whenever I needed advice, I had someone to lean back on and ask advice from. So it was really nice to have him with me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I've never gone through it, but I think that can kind of be a tricky situation where you're just thrusted into this spotlight, and all these schools are coming after you, and you just don't know how to process it. It can be a kind of a sticky situation.
Yeah, for sure.
We talked to your friend Austin,
Yeah.
a fellow Grizz commit, and we kind of mentioned it in the earlier on in the podcast. Uh, how is that kind of switch from high school to college kind of relationship gonna transpire? I know. Austin had said that the parents were like, "No, you can't be roommates. We want you to branch out." But how is that gonna look, man?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool experience. But yeah, like even coaches and our parents said we're not allowed to room together, but it'll be all right. We'll be on the same floor with all the other players. But yeah, it's pretty special. The fact that Austin moved to Helena in about fifth grade, and we became best friends there, and now we're still really good buds to this day. And the fact that I have someone there with me and we just get to carry on into college is pretty special.
Awesome, man. Any awesome or funny stories about you and your friend Austin, man?
Oh yeah, he's gonna hate me for this one, but we used to ride the bus home after together after middle school, and he used to be in the band back in middle school, and he would get out his saxophone on the bus and put it together and start playing music for everyone on the bus, and he'd sing and all this other stuff. And he's gonna hate that I told everyone that, but yeah, that's one of my best stories about him.
That's awesome. Was he good or was it like, oh, please stop?
It was a mixture. He'd
It
go
was a
through
mix.
phases.
That's awesome. Oh man, that's funny. Since your season, man, is done, and you've mentioned, you're in track season as well. You know, what are your you're still trying to work for state champion in track. What does that look like now that you're done with football, but also trying to have that light where you're going to be playing football here in the next couple months?
Yeah, it's more just in my mindset. I'm kind of just focusing on track and getting my times down and competing the best to try to go out there and place or win a state championship for our team. But yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm also trying to get ready for football. And as soon as track wraps up, I just got to hop right back into that and get back into it.
So, being from Helena, are you gonna be going down in the summer, or are you gonna go in the fall? What's that look like?
Yeah, me and Bueller plan to go down there when we can and work out with the guys and just do what we can at home football wise to stay ready.
That's awesome. I think that helps you guys because you guys have a partner in crime where you guys can make that trip from Helena to Missoula pretty easily, but
Yeah.
also you guys can work out together and kind of um, solidify yourself there as well. So that's
hmm
awesome. What makes you keep striving to get better? You're part of this linebacker crew that is pretty infamous, and growing up in Montana, you probably know all about it. What makes you keep striving to better your craft, man?
I just say my self competitiveness. Every day I want to be better than I was yesterday, and it can be frustrating if I'm not. But
Yeah.
that's why I strive for to step forward each day, and even if it's just a little bit, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and you've mentioned growing up in Montana your whole life. The history of the Montana linebacking crew. Linebacker you as they call it. What does that mean to you being one of those persons entrusted into this linebacking lore?
It's pretty special, their whole defense is built around it. You got to be the leader, you got to be the director of the entire unit itself. And even though I'm still not completely sure where they're going to put me or play me on either side of the ball, if I'm a linebacker, I know it's a huge honor, and I'll be pretty respected if I do that.
So that they haven't really told you where they're going to put you. They've kind of slotted you maybe at linebacker, but they're going to move you around.
Yeah, they tend to argue. I've had a couple coaches talk to me that they want me or they want me, so I'm not sure yet. But
There you go. There you go. Keep that open mind, and you'll see the field a lot sooner then.
yeah,
Cool, man. Well, does it get you nervous, with living up to those expectations, or how do you kind of deal with that?
I mean, yeah, there's some nerves to it. I mean, I feel like if you care about something, you're obviously gonna have nerves about it. But once you step past that, it's just pretty crazy that I'm so close to college and that I'm about to take this next step. But I think I'm ready for it, and I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, it's crazy how your high school career just goes by in an instant. It's just like here and then it's gone and on to the next thing, right?
Yeah, it feels like I just got in the Capitol like last year.
It's crazy, crazy. What other positions did you play in high school for Capital?
I mostly played tight end, and then I've played receiver, running back, and a little bit of D end, and obviously linebacker.
Okay, cool. Well, I saw your film, and you're big enough to be a tight end, but you've got that speed to be that wide receiver as well, and you're just a mismatch um, on that ball. So, what what would you like to play? What side of the ball do you want to play?
I don't know. I like them both a lot. They both have their perks, but I don't know. Nothing really compares to scoring a touchdown, and that's just a special feeling that isn't present anywhere else.
There you go. There you go. You know, you've mentioned, your dad is a former Griz, but looking at just you, man, your time going there, this is going to be your time. What are you looking forward to next year playing for the Griz?
Kind of just feeling the college atmosphere itself. It's obviously gonna be a step up, especially at UM, as they have such a great fan base, and just the learning again. I feel like because obviously you learn in high school, but college is a whole nother level. I have so much more to learn, and I'm aware of that, and I'm just excited to get started.
There you go. Are you feeling like you'll probably redshirt next year as well?
I feel like that's the plan. Maybe some special teams. I'll try my best or wherever they need me, get me out on the field.
There you go. There you go. You know, mentioned special teams, and this is kind of like a cool area where a lot of these linebackers that come to be great, they start off in the special teams, and I think that mantra and that reality of, hey, I'm going to help my team however I can, that kind of precedes that special teams unit. What is your mindset? What is your attitude going into that, man?
I mean, yeah, I didn't really get to play special teams this year because I had to play both ways. But yeah, special teams is such a huge part of it, and the fact that I could have a chance at having an impact on the game as into my first year there would be a pretty special feeling. So yeah, I'm just excited to go out there and maybe give my opportunity to step foot on the Grizzly.
That's awesome, man. You know, knowing that you are from Montana and you know probably the Big Sky very well, what Big Sky team are you most excited to play?
I mean, I feel like you gotta go with MSU. I mean, that growing up watching that game every year and just the atmosphere that it brings with it and the standards, it's just unmatched. And I think that's every kid's dream is to play in that game and be a part of it.
Have you gone to a Grizz Cat game?
I actually haven't. I
Okay,
was gonna go last year, but it was actually in Bozeman, so I didn't get the chance to go. They didn't let me, but yeah, I've just
there you
sat at
go.
home and watched it with my friends every year, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, if you haven't gone, it's one of those games that you have to experience. It's one of those awesome experiences. A little bit more heightened, knowing that there's bragging rights.
Yeah.
It's special, very special. You played linebacker, you played tight end, but what makes a great linebacker, in your opinion?
Really just the heart and the drive to win. I feel like, you have to be versatile, you have to go out and cover, and you have to be able to fill gaps and shed linemen and make tackles. And I just feel like if you don't have the heart to do that, then you're not going to be successful within that role. And I feel like, especially at UM, it's just such a big part of their defense and their team as a whole that it's just an opportunity that people are very lucky to get. And I might be able to do that.
That's awesome. Like I said, your size and your speed jump off your videotapes and for your last season. How have you worked to get better at those things, and what do you do to make yourself better with your speed, and what goes into that?
Just like lifting you around and keeping my legs there. And obviously, track will really help me. But, just things like plyometrics and speed work after workouts and just kind of making sure that I'm always trying to improve and get that little bit quicker just really helps me in my game.
Awesome. What I don't think I've asked you, what do you race or what do you run the track?
I do the 100, 200, and the 4x1.
Oh, nice. What's your 100 time?
My PR this year was 11:2. I need to get that down a little
Dang.
more.
That's still really good, man.
Yeah, that's the goal though, is to get down into those tens.
Okay, nice. Well, what are you ranked in the state? That's got to be pretty like top 15, doesn't it?
Yeah, in the double A, I think my 100 is top five, maybe a little less than
Wow.
that.
Okay,
But yeah, and then I
that's
just PR'd in the 200, so I think I'm up to like 6 or 7 there.
that's awesome. That's hard to do, man. Be in the top five, top 10, two races. That's incredible, man. You
Thank
know,
you.
I'm gonna ask, man. Football players, any sports, they can kind of be superstitious. Uh, you know, any superstition before a game, man?
Kinda. I make sure to do everything in the same order, like putting on my pads and stuff wise. But I show up early. I have to get everything out of my bag and into my locker neatly, and then I just put on my girdle and my pants, and then I put on my headphones, and from there I just lock in.
Awesome, awesome. Any favorite foods before a game?
I usually hit the local sandwich shops, keep it light and healthy, and just try to fuel my body right for the game.
Okay, there you go. What kind of music do you listen to before a game?
It kind of depends. If it's a pretty calm, like confident game, I'll go into it, listen to hip hop and stuff like that. But honestly, like the really big and like high pressure games, you kind of got to go to the throwbacks, like the early 2000s and stuff like that. Kind of calm your nerves a little bit.
There you go. There you go. You know, you mentioned food. Austin mentioned sandwiches as well. Was this the same sandwich spot?
Yeah, the one of the most popular spots in Helena is Stefano's. They make really good sandwiches and stuff. But yeah, I bet Billy goes there a lot more than me. He's
Okay.
like that kid likes to eat.
There you go. We mentioned, to Austin that he's got to get, some NIA deal to stuff and being a lineman. Um, this era of football where you can get NIL is crazy. Back when I was your age, that wasn't even a possibility. So, hypothetical, what would be one of the NIL deals that you would love to have?
I don't know. It's still a pretty fresh topic, and but hopefully I'll have some opportunities there. I got a lot of family down in Missoula, and maybe I'll be able to score a business deal there, or just have one of those card deals. I see Junior as a card deal. That's crazy what he
That's
has,
not,
but yeah,
yeah.
a pretty big deal.
Awesome, awesome. Now, who has been that person in your life that's been that most influential person that has done amazing things to inspire you?
It's definitely my dad. He's either been coaching me or just supporting me in the stands. He's just been such a huge part of my athletic career ever since I can remember. He's never been overbearing. He's just pushing me when I need to be pushed, but he also keeps me in line. And that's pretty special to have. And I can't really put into words how much he's done for me, and I'm just thankful for it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Any other younger siblings or older siblings?
Oh yeah, I got a younger brother. He's a freshman this year.
Okay. Do you guys play? Does he play football as well?
Yeah, he does. He does all three the same as me.
Okay. Do you guys were on the same team, or was he in a freshman or sophomore team?
Yeah, at Capital we had to play the freshman team, so he had to stick on the freshman team this year.
Oh, okay. Nice,
Yeah,
man. So, I have three brothers, and me being the youngest, that growing up, we were always constantly either getting in fights or playing sports and someone getting hurt.
yeah.
But I think that when you grow up, you look back at those times and you just kind of like, oh man, that was awesome. How has that relationship with you and your brother kind of made you better on the field?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely used to fight a lot and compete, and we'd have to go complain to mom and all this other stuff. But yeah, having them there to kind of just have a buddy to go shoot hoops or go play catch whenever we wanted to is just helped me fall in love with sports even more. And hopefully, I set a good example for him, and he can honestly be better than me one day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you all want to be Griz?
Uh, like again, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but we always paid attention to the Grizzlies because both my parents went there, so I was always kind of aware of what was going on over in Missoula.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Your expectations and mindsets next year, going in as a freshman, but knowing that you feel like you can play. Uh, what are your what do you think is going to go on next year?
My expectations are just to improve myself in the weight room and just uh, actual knowledge of the game itself, and then just kind of going into it with an open mind. I mean, if they want me to get out on the field, then I'm more than welcome to. But if they want me to redshirt, then I'm completely fine with that and just take an extra year of development.
Nice, man. One thing that, I think is really pivotal in, sports is how you go down after a hard track season, or maybe in the middle of your season, how you're taking care of your body, which probably isn't that much in high school sports. What do you do to take care of your body in the season and outside the season as well?
Yeah, mostly just stretching, obviously, and then we have a very good trainer at our school, and we just go in there and take ice baths when we can, and just try to keep our bodies fresh and get off our feet.
Nice, nice. What drives you as a person, and what drives you as a football player?
I like to say my work ethic and competitive spirit. Again, I just can't stand losing. I can't stand not improving, and I just try my best to improve every aspect of life, and I just hope to continue that in college.
Favorite sports athlete?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I used to be a pretty big Kevin Durant fan back in the day. And
Okay,
then football wise, I'd probably have to say I'm a Broncos fan, so Peyton Manning's up there.
there you go. There you go. All
Yeah.
right. You know, this is a question that we were trying to ask everybody uh, that we interview, especially with these Griz commit ish episodes. What do you see and what do you hope to see? You're 7 years from now.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question because obviously I want to finish out my football career and get into a major and become successful and help those who have helped me along the way and give back to them. But I still don't know what major I want to go into, and it's just another thing that's kind of hanging over me right now. But I'll get it done and figure it out.
Nice, man. Well, you've got some time to figure that out, but um, yeah, that's awesome, man. You got the time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to do that.
Yeah.
You got time,
Just
but
take the generals.
exactly, get those out of the way. You got at least 2 years to do those. So,
Yeah.
well, Hayden, I can't thank you enough, man. Spending some time with us, introducing yourself to Griz Nation. We can't wait to see you on the field as well. So I can't wait to see you dress up. What's the number that you're wanting, man? What's the lucky number?
See, that's a question that I am not really sure of yet. If I get
Okay.
stuck on offense, I'll probably stick with 84 still. But on
Okay.
defense, I don't know. I'd have to switch it up. 84 is all I've known, so I'm not sure what I'd pick. But
Nice. Well, you got some time for that as well, man. But we can't thank you enough for spending some time with us and introducing yourself to Griz Nation, man.
yep, thank you for having me.